Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some holes in a few things. So we're going to start off with the easy one. I'm going to put a hole in this one that goes right the way through it, and we're going to make that hole 12 mil because it's going to sit on top of this one eventually. So let's zoom in on it so we can see what we're doing. And we're going to go for our modify. No, we're not. We're going to go for create a hole. Where's hole gone? There we go. There's hole. Create a hole. It's saying where do I want to click? Where do I want my hole? I'm going to put it on that surface there. How do I know it's going to be in the middle? That's not in the middle at the moment. You can see if I zoom in, that's nowhere near the center. So all I need to do is just click where it says reference and choose the edge, and then you see that that's put that right in the middle now. So how deep do I want it to be? What diameter? Well, I want it to be 12 mil diameter, so I'm going to change that to 12. And how far through do I want it to go? Well, I want it to go right the way through. So basically I could, if I had other components there, decide which ones that I'm going to go through, or we'll just put it right the way through this one. But if there was other components attached to it, it would go through those as well. So the other way you could do it is you just drag the handle and you pull, and as long as you pull and you go further through the hole than the bottom, then it's going to go right the way through. So I'll click OK, and just to check it, if I revolve it around, you can see now that's got a hole right the way through it. Okay, I'm going to put a few more holes in. I'm going to put a hole in the bottom of this lid. Now this lid is eventually going to go on top of this one. Now this one was 20 mil, so I'm going to put a 20 mil hole in the bottom of this one, but I don't want to go right the way through. So I'm going to swing it around so I can see the bottom of it and zoom in on it a little bit. That's where my hole's going to go in here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to create a hole. I'm going to click on this surface. I'm going to again select the edge. But this time I need to change the sizes because it's still set to the last one, which was 12, and I want it to be 20. And I want it to probably go about 15 or 20 mil deep. So the depth of it at the moment is only 2. In fact, let's go for something like 18. So it's not all the way through, but it's enough that this is going to be able to sit on top of the push button bit afterwards. So I'm going to say OK. And that's now, if I swing it around and have a look, it's not gone all the way through. So I've put a hole through this one, put a hole in the bottom of this one. I want to put a hole right the way through my tube. Okay, my tube is very tiny, it's only 4 mil, so I'll zoom in on there. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to create another hole on the top. You can see the actual hole is so much bigger than the tube, so I'll change that to a 2 so I can see it. And the same thing, I'll select that edge to put it in the middle. Okay, where do I want it to go? Well, same thing, I want it to go right the way through, so I could choose all, or I could drag it through myself. Let's just drag it through, it's more fun. So my hole is right the way through, comes out the other end, and click OK. So now that tube has got a hole through it. I want my tube to be able to go into the bottom of this one, which is going to be the actual push button. So same thing, I need a 2 mil hole in the bottom of this one, in the middle. So I'm going to do the same thing again, create myself a hole, choose the bottom, select the edge. It's already set to 2 mil from last time. How deep do I want it to go though? I don't want it to go all the way through like that. So I'll maybe make it go about 3/4 of the way through. Click OK. Now this is all going to make much more sense when I assemble all this afterwards, and you can see how it works.